Well, whatever planet that it hits, the house that it's in, because remember, you got 4 points. You got two new moons and
Mm-hmm.
two eclipses
Mm-hmm.
going on at the same time. So you have to sort of look at it and say, "Oh God, I got to pay attention to this, pay attention to that, and I got to
Mm.
watch this."
Well, just an example, I know that the upcoming eclipse is coming up. It's going to be in my sixth house. I mean, like, what would, just offhand, what would you think of that on the sixth house? What would that
Well, in
mean?
the fifth house,
Sixth house.
either you're gonna get patted uh, because the fifth house is out. People give you credit for anything.
Oh,
It's your acting house. It's if you have a lot of fifth house, uh, you gotta. The example that I give, like me, I have a lot of fifth house intercepted.
no,
So
mine's the sixth house. If it was the sixth house, what would it mean?
oh, the sixth house would be your health, your
Mm-hmm.
work, you know.
Well, is that
So,
something to worry about? If it's an eclipse, wouldn't that be something to worry about?
well, no, it's something that I need to, if I was not feeling good, I'd go see a doctor.
Yeah, I would think it put, so that just, yeah, it tells you to focus a little bit better on that area.
Yeah.
Like if it was maybe in the 10th, maybe you might, what, lose a job. I mean, you kind of go by the house it's in, right?
Yeah. When I opened up my school, I had an eclipse. The backward eclipse was on my Saturn in the 10th house. So the 10th house is also getting arrested, and I got arrested
Really? I
because
thought it
the
was
blue.
12th.
I got arrested and thrown in jail because I put a sign on my school, the Astrological Institute of Research, and the vice squad came in the next day and said it's against the blue law to
That's
to
right. When it was
to do
illegal for us. Yep.
yeah $10,000 fine or 10 years in jail.
I tell people they used to arrest us and they don't believe me. Were you able, usually I was taught to go under religion. I mean, what did you do when you got arrested?
Well, I had a good friend, a client, Barbara Kennelly's husband, who was Barbara Kennelly was a senator, and her
Oh,
husband was national Democratic chairman of the United States. So he was also a lawyer. So I call him up, and he says, "Put the cop on the phone." And I don't know what he told him, but the cop says you can go home. So I went home,
good.
and then just before they break for the holiday, for Christmas holiday, he calls me up. He said, we're going to the Capitol. We're going to change the law. The law says that you can't do psychic, tarot, psychology, and astrology.
Hmm.
Uh, I guess you get arrested. And he says they're going to break sometimes today, and just before they break, we're going to say you got to look at this. So that way they want to take off for Christmas, they'll make a decision real quick. They took psychology out and astrology, but they left psychic and tarot in.
Right.
Yeah. And this is why that, the Astrological Society of Connecticut, we do a psychic fair twice a year to raise money. We don't call it a psychic fair
Mm.
because, you know, some people downstate, uh, you know, 10 years ago, they called it a psychic fair. They got arrested.
Yeah.
We call it an astrology fair.
Yeah.
So, even
But you've
though
had
it's
some,
psychic.
how do you build up clients like you had though? It sounds like you had a senator in the mix. I mean, how would you, if you were starting over, say, someone, how would they go about getting business as an astrologer?
Well, because don't forget, I've lectured all over the world. I've lectured,
Okay.
so I picked up a lot of clients from all over the world.
By
Greece,
lecturing. Yeah.
Spain, Russia, Finland, Norway, England, you know. I mean, I've been all over.
And how would you book a lecture? I mean, what kind of lecturing would you do, to get that?
Well, they used to call me. I didn't, I, like I said, I have an intercepted fifth house. And the thing is that the lesson that I have to learn is that if I go out and let's say I was picked to do a group for the town, I was
Mm,
picked to they having a play, and I'm picked as the top player to do the play, and I work my buns off trying to, say when I get on stage, I'm gonna knock him dead. And I go up there and I do my role, and half the people clap and say, and but half the people say boo. If you have a fifth house affliction or focus on a fifth house, you can't run off stage and say, I'll never play on stage again. You have
mhm,
to say that to hell with the people that booed me. They don't know anything about,
mhm.
acting. This is why they boo me. So I get knocked down a lot.
Oh,
Also, my astrology.
okay.
Not so much in the last 10 years, but when I first got on, because I was so different than most astrologers.
You are.
Because I,
You
I
are.
was very scientific, you know.
Yeah. But you also put things in English because one of the things that infuriates me about most, male astrologers is they talk a lot of jargon and math, but then you say, what does it mean? And they can't answer you. You explain things beautifully, in English, what it means. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's great. I mean, and what else would you say that we need to look for on, say, we're doing missing person or a crime case, how would you approach that chart to see if they're alive, dead, where are they? I mean, what's your process on that?
Well, dead, it's their eighth house. If there's an affliction to the eighth house, they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not, and where they are would be the direction they are and how
Mm-hmm.
many miles there is
Mm-hmm.
between this and that. And then you read the chart. Uh, you take every planet in the chart that ties the house, and it's a study by itself to study
Yes.
every house. Every house is what it means. And I used to do a lot of lecture on defining the house, the third
Mm-hmm.
house on all kinds of different level.
Mm-hmm.
What does the third house mean? And what's the lesson from it? And why do you have planets in there? And
Mm-hmm.
what is I think the horary chart is the same way. Now, if
Right.
somebody lost a diamond ring, all right,
Mm-hmm.
and they called me and they said, like this old lady, like I told you before, I don't do any client anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They call. Carol says to them, Alfie doesn't do that anymore. He's retired. But this
Mm-hmm.
old lady I knew, she was an astrologer, and I knew her from way back. She must be about 90 years old, and she went to take a shower, and she said she doesn't understand why she took a diamond ring out, and a pinky ring, and those the diamond ring and the pinky ring was estimated at $25,000. She took
Yeah.
them and she put them on the sink in the
Mm-hmm.
bathroom, but then she said, oh God, my cat jump on the sink every time I take a shower, you know, waiting for me to get out. So I took them
Mm-hmm.
and I put them somewhere and I forgot. They're in the house, but I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the way you do it. You draw a chart the time they call you, and you take the ruler of the second house, all right,
Mm-hmm.
and put it in the direction. Let's say the ruler of the second house is in the fifth house. That would
Mm-hmm.
be more north and west, but more north.
Now,
So
how
I
do you
would,
get time? Because I struggle so much with time. Like, when are we going to find it? That's the one that drives me crazy. How do
well,
you determine time that
I
something
don't,
will be
uh,
found?
timing,
Or
timing, let me finish that. You asked me the question on
yeah.
timing later. I told her, stand in the middle of the house. You know where northwest is.
Mm-hmm.
But no more north. If they don't say, oh, I don't know. Well, east is where the sunrise. You know where the
Right.
sunrise. I
East is the
tell her how
rising.
many
Yeah.
degrees to turn clockwise. Okay, if you stand in the middle of the house, you walk towards the wall. What room would you be in?
Mm-hmm.
That tells you where the thing is. To her, it was the bedroom. And
Mm-hmm.
then if the ruler of the second house, if it's in fire sign, it's east. If it's in water sign, it's north. And that tells you the wall. So
Mm-hmm.
if it's in water sign, you say, okay, go into that room, and what do you have there on the north wall? Because water is north. What do you have
Okay.
there on? And they tell me, and then you can see by the sign that the rule is in. If it's in Taurus, it's on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. If it's in Pisces, it's into something. Uh, if it's in Aries, it's high and high on the shelf or something like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
told her, and she said, "Well, I got a shelf there, which I have 2, 3 boxes where I keep my medicine when I take it before I go to bed." I said, "It's in there." She says, "It's impossible." I
Right.
said, "Okay, go look and call me."
Go
She
look.
called me up about 3 minutes later. She said, "I found them. I found them. They were in there." I would have never thought of looking in there. I don't know
Right.
what made me put him in there. I,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the way it is. And that works all the time.
Gotcha. Yeah, that helps a lot to know that, yeah, the rising is east and you stand in that direction. And of course, the other signs placements help you, narrow it down. But I have always struggled with time on like how long is it going to take to find the person or the
Timing and
object.
horary does not work at all.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
why
use
I
time at
struggle with
all.
it then. Okay, I thought maybe you might
Okay.
know. Yeah.
Uh, you know, let's see somebody says, uh, should I buy a new car?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is yes. Then I
Okay.
look at the natal chart and I tell them
Mm,
from the natal chart when to buy the new car. Because the
right.
natal chart is the timing is perfect. Because it's your life. It was all before you were born. If you believe in reincarnation,
Mm-hmm.
then you were born before the. You know, it says that you would buy a new car on this day. And
Well, what
so
do
I
you look
use the
for if
natal chart
somebody
for
gets a lot of
anything.
money? Well, if somebody gets a lot of money to say buy a house or a car. What are you looking for to see that windfall or increase in money? What is it you look for?
Well, first of all, I look at the fourth house. I look at Jupiter transit. You know, I look at a lot of things. But if they want to buy a house, it's definitely the fourth house. Planets in
Right.
the fourth house, transit to the fourth house ruler, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.